Just double checking here and see if I'm actually live. Yeah, here we go. Right on. All right. Anyway, so I'm gonna go back just a little bit here. Let me pause this. Just a little bit. Like I was saying, this might happen for good reason. It's imperative that I go back to Mission Creek. See, I forgot to. Well, didn't really forget to add. It's just things like this. They happen. That's why this book was extremely challenging to write, but it was fun, and it's continuing to teach me a lot about patience, and just considering pretty much everything before I go ahead and make a final decision, before I get the confirmation from the man with the upper hand. At any rate, back at Mission Creek, when I got back, Rughead, Randy, and the other crew foremen, the ones that had to put the 3/4 inch ply over the window that had been broke by Rod and I, horse playing, which made it to where I couldn't get out the window. Well, they kind of got blamed. I just have this feeling they kind of got blamed that they didn't know about. Not that window being discovered would have stopped me from going, as far as I was concerned, because I was already there in my mind. It was just a matter of just doing it, and doing it well, right? So what they did is they were really pissy, because not only was the whole in-camp crew getting fed extremely well thanks to Wendy, but they were getting ribbed about the window and all that, because by the time they received the window to replace it, me and Rod had already been gone. Well, Rod might have already been back by then, because he was only out of, I think, a week or so. He got busted at in Burien Park and Ride, right down the road from Ruth Dykeman, actually. So what they did is they made me haul scaffolding to the 2-story section, like I said, the one that I had to navigate to get over, because I was up on that roof, and it's a big A-frame, 3-4 stories up. It's a huge like cathedral A-frame ceilings. It's beautiful structure. At least it was when I was there. But then once you're up there, then you got to get down. And they're, like I said, one of the wings, the one Pablo jumped off of, that's kind of into the side of the hill has been cut away. So I had to haul scaffolding. They made me haul scaffolding. They didn't tell me the whole day I was hauling that scaffolding all around there, and I was wondering why everybody else was doing real light work, and they were making me haul that scaffolding, and I busted my butt all day hauling that scaffolding. And then the next day we set it up, and then they got up there. Randy got up there with me with a big old roto hammer and showed me one time how to do it, and then they had me running that roto hammer, and sure enough, they had me putting those. They were just they used aluminum. That's all they needed. But just like was in Echo Glen and a lot of other Shelton R units, just a thin piece of sheet metal to go, and then the window in between. So they had me drill the holes, stuff the anchors, the anchor bolts. I think it was some kind of lead or soft metal in the holes. We just piloted out, and then they had me cranking them all down so that the windows wouldn't open. And the whole time he was laughing. I was like, "Oh, you dirty suckers!" So they had me do that. I thought that was kind of a good way to touche. If you guys ever get a chance to hear this, that was pretty good. Let's see what we got here. Bunch of dysfunction lately. Let's see. There we go. So, oh yeah, now back to Wally World. 1990-91. So one of the things was not to do a bunch of things, gambling, and then of course the real main one that I thought was the most stupid, but now I understand why more than any of them now. Completely flipped the script on me on that one, because don't ever let anybody know, especially in a place like that, when your release date is. And I certainly didn't have enough time. They sent me to the wrong place but that's what happened. You know, when you do dumb stuff, as the dumb do, and stinking thinking, do what you done, get what you got, kind of thing. And then the second time, yes, there's a second time, and I won't spoiler alert, but they sent me right back there too, even though it was a short amount of time. Again, I always only got 12 in a day, a year and a day, or 14 months for small stuff, but they sent me back there because that was my parent institution. That's what they, and so it was a challenge navigating the. If I hadn't have done time with a bunch of people, I'd honestly had a rough go of it. If I hadn't known a bunch of people and they knew who I was and had been raised around each other and stuff, I probably would have never made it out of there alive. I'd have been chewed up and spit out. But I was raised by the school of hard knocks, and of course the good Lord, like I said the other day, I cannot say, because I say wherever I go I make it happen, which it always appeared that way. Always. I always made sure my kids had a play, even though I was screwing up on the side or doing stuff, even thought I was doing dope in the closet and stuff, but they always knew. They always do. The only one you're fooling is yourself, and of course that doesn't cash too well. Those bounce like a spinning ball. But I want to thank Tor and Millie again today for. It's always nice to hear their voice, and it's just, I don't, like I said, it's just, if it wasn't that way I'd say it, or if it's it's just that's just the way it is. And so I thank you guys very much for that. It was really nice. A lot of things going on around here, but I got to keep my head in Walla Walla right now. There's more important things to do. Tell you about a few convicts and some slick tricks. You learn more negative stuff. If you were, and that Fifi, that was pretty good. That was funny today. That was pretty funny. But you learn some really slick tricks. If you didn't know how to be a criminal when you go to these places, you're gonna hear enough to where you'll have that option and a few extra little tools in your corrupt bag when you leave, if you'd like, because that's where a lot of these young kids, believe it or not, they learn a lot of their dirt from some of the older guys that don't care. Once they get them under their wing, they'll tell them stuff. They really should be segregating people differently, So, one good thing, though, I will say, a difference that they have made, and I won't, again, go too far ahead, but this is they have all been packing that greased, that bear spray. And thank the good Lord. And you know, we have to thank the sacrificial people like my buddy Ryan Allwyn. And again, I won't spoiler alert, but now they all carry mace. People might say, "Why would you be saying that, man?" It's actually a good thing. When I end up telling you about this, when I was heading to McNeil Island and then did a few months there, like I said, I only ever got just a short amount of time, praise the good Lord, and then was led to go to Reading in '07, my son and I. And then, man, some things just really ignited. The Lord just really started to start sending me all kinds of messages, messengers, and you know, it's amazing. It's really amazing, people. So, yeah, you learn all kinds of stuff, like how to pass things through the. In Walla Walla, it's a lot. It's way bigger. The tiers are 3. And like in Shelton, our units, they're only 2 high, and not even that high. In Walla Walla, an 8 wing, they're 3. They're 3 high, and they're not. There's no cage. A really tiny little catwalk, and then and there's like I think 29. So 29, and then times 4, and then 3. So, and then that's on either side of the wing. So there's quite a few people in 8 wing. And to pass stuff around, because you know there was an observation booth right there, and there was a lot of stuff being passed around that wasn't just typical stuff you didn't really care if the staff member was watching you, whether they happened to be watching you or not. You didn't care if they busted you. Pardon me. So the stuff that they wanted to pass discreetly would be done through the sewage system, through the toilets. And with the same comb that I used to pick the lock in juvenile hall in our rooms, because they used to have us all in like 10-man rooms, the kids, so I could light light my charcoal, while Willie and Terry were down there with needles in their arm. Serious, these old convicts, heroines strung out. The same comb, I was able to unlatch that door and crawl and put that lead in the sockets. It's the same comb, which is ironic. The same little comb. I got one around here. Ones they give you in jail. The cheap little, tiny little, flimsy black combs that aren't good for anything but fishing. Fish with them and literally use them to pull your garments apart, just like that ring I had made, Melly, for you and sent to you. I don't know if you got that, but that orange, orange man bad ring. See, it's a dual thing. I wasn't trying to say anything negative. I thought it was kind of cute, saying I love you. I sent you a ring. I didn't make it. I didn't weave that together. I had somebody that was a Latin that is really good. They're good at stuff like that. Hook me up on that and send that to you. And I didn't even really have to pay him anything for it, which is cool. Because he spent a lot of time weaving that together, girl. He did. The way he had "I love you" in there, that was pretty good. I think that was an orange jumpsuit from Shelton, and part of my socks. that was part of them. They were clean socks, sweetie. They were clean socks. And I'm still trying to figure out this bee thing, girl. I'm still trying to figure out the internet thing, Look, I'm picking up a lot of stuff, and I heard what you were saying to me that time on that video. I picked up that, but we just need to speak so we can set up, like I said, within about, I think March would be, reasonable, and if not sooner, so that so we can at least meet, and then you can make that final decision. Because I'm pretty much, I'm just going by. I'm just here for the ride. My Heavenly Father's, he's the one shoveling the coal in this choo-choo, So yeah, they'd pass stuff around with a bunch of line, and certain things would be said, so all them people wouldn't flush their toilet or use their toilet. And then it would only be a matter of time before your comb, which was all up in the system, BM, and the roto-rooters, right? Big. Oh, and by the way, and I'll get Lionel. That's Sammy the Bull. Dude. Oh my God. I got you, son. Thanks. That's Sammy the Bull. That was so funny. That was so funny, bro. That was some good beans right there. Those are the kind of beans. Oh mama will be sending you off to send you off to the market for some old milk and butter and cheese and some bread, and she won't mind you coming home with those magic beans, old Jackie boy. I always said Lionel has no. I love you guys, and Lynn and all. Lionel never sleeps at night. That was funny. That was so funny. I was rolling so hard when you were doing that, Sammy the Bull. So when I brought it up, pardon me, people, but it was absolutely, for those of you that already know, it was just great. Very talented Lionel. Extremely. I think Robin Williams, and he could have sharpened him right up, and that dude would have been, boy, do a little legal slaying on the side, and clown some butts on the along the way. Pretty funny. So anyway, they're passing stuff through the toilet, flushing, and then you're able to feel it, and then they pull it out, and the other person pulls it. Once they got your comb tangled up with their comb, you're pulling both their and your comb up out of the sewage, and there's a line, and then you got the line. You say, okay, I got it, and you tie whatever you're fixing to send back on up, or whatever, and okay, and then they just start pulling it, and then you just, okay, got it, and then they unhook it, and there you go, and people can go back to feeding the warden. So yeah, people, you hear stuff you don't want to hear, like I say, I've had to say a few times, look, unless I really need to know this, please, I don't want to know this. Why, Steve? I said, well, think about it. I said, I've learned this a long time ago from my aunt, when I was just a young, wee little one. Lionel. That's funny. It's hard to stop a train, oh Lionel. When I was a wee little one, I was taught, unless I need to know, I don't want to know. I don't want to know at all. Because if something happens, then they're going to start backtracking and say, okay, who knew? Who are you? And they're gonna start asking, who are you? you're going to start having to explain. And sometimes, even if you're innocent, you're explaining, if you're not good at explaining, could get you whacked. So it's best just not to tell Steen anything he don't need to know. I don't want to know nothing. And I'll tell you, the downside to telling people stuff they don't really need to know, unless they really need to know it. But this turned out to be a blessing. And there was some horrific, gruesome stuff attached to it. But again, the Lord uses all different means, vehicles, and fashions to alert certain authorities of what's going on, so that people can be aware. So people can't stand and say, hey, look, this Neutrogena right here is going to cover me. But it's just best to come with clean hands. So yeah, I learned a lot of extra dirt. And mostly I'd learned that there really is evil. I just didn't. I'd heard about God. I've seen the Adventists was one of the first, which was really kind of odd also, because I ended up meeting some Adventists, because they're the Seventh-day Adventists also. Walla Walla is a college town. The Seventh-day Adventists have I believe they have a campus there, and they would come into to Walla Walla, and they would share the word, and then other stuff too. Like even when I was there this last time unlawfully, they were there giving out stuff for Christmas. The only ones of all the denominations that come in, they were the only ones that gave every single person at least $20 worth of stuff. Big old thing of shampoo and toothpaste and saved people a bunch of money, plus cleaned them up, which if you had any decent roommates, they made sure you showered. But a lot of that didn't go on. But they were there. So, and that would play a part later on in the state of Michigan, and ran into some Adventists that had to verify me through the pastor in Walla Walla and stuff. Just another miracle. Could write a whole book about that itself. Where I found myself there in Bangor, Bangor, South Haven, Michigan, Bangor. Fishing, catching big old salmon, teaching my son. He was just knee-high to a little grasshopper too. I was slaying some big old salmon out of there. They have some, I don't know if they do anymore. I was led to say years ago when Sir Trump was giving that speech about the clean water right there, and the Lord was screaming at me, no, that's not clean water. And they've been stilling that water. They've been stilling water, and then they're poisoning it. They've been stilling it before, and then selling it back to us. Said that the Chinese they've been getting a lot of our water, along with our gold. Something about dental work, and I'm like, wow, where's this stuff coming from? But I digress. I don't want to get nipped too early in the game. So yeah, I get out of Walla Walla. It's 1992. I'd seen many people from juvenile, Paul Lawson being one, and like I said, he was a big boy. There's a time when he was, and if he's listening, I love you, brother, but hopefully you've given your life to the good Lord, because Cain and Abel, the blood cries out. When he was jacking like 400, close to 450 pounds, I know that dip bar, boy, it was seriously, it was doing every time it bounced off his chest, and I had, the thought had crossed my mind, on one of them last reps and just go over there. That iron pile was open for everybody. I used to once in a while go over and I'd get 250 now and again for a little guy, you know. But I'd dip. I could squat a lot. On the Ironman competitions, they would ask me to do the dips for that part for my weight class, as far as the percentage of weight that I was able to dip would calculate as a win overall. You know, that's just how they did it. So they got people that were good at, you know, because there were people that were just so big. They were just, these people were monsters, jacking, curling, you know, twice what I weighed. Well, anyway, 400 pounds at least, 400 something pounds, and I had thought about just, you know, but I'm not like that. Like I said, I've never voluntarily ever taken anybody's life unless I don't know it. The Lord hasn't given me the memo yet. And I've been involved in some stuff with a few little homies or so up on the hill. But I was friend. I wasn't foe. I was just up there, happened to be, because I lived up there and I wasn't part of the gang at all. I just was there. And so when you live there, you know, those things start flying around your kids and stuff. And they're throwing you, you know, a slingshot. You start looking for pebbles. But yeah, so I thought about that before I left. And I get out. I'm out for probably thinking maybe. Oh, well, when I get out, I go to Bonnie Lake. It's going to play into this whole thing, too. There's another whole book on just Bonnie Lake. Just on that alone, because we're going to make a big full circle again, of course. Just unintentional. Just big, huge, harmonious, symphonic. And you'll notice sometimes, just like on the Queensryche, that's the only time, other than like except where it can be used to reverse, just like the moon on the, when I was led to give that scripture verse here, I believe Ezekiel, when it was when he said, oh, it's real easy to advance it forward, but you try to make it go back. You go ahead and you make it go back, you silly, silly rabbits. But I love you anyway. And that's why I don't clown you, you know, because like I said, it really doesn't even matter unless you're teaching people. We already know, and that's what they love, to teach people. And it's not even subtle anymore. It's just a sharp stab right in your butt. Oh, they look like they're starting to go green again. Yep, they're starting to go green again. Hopefully I'll get another camera. Be blessed with the... I'll just use it and then take it back, right? I ain't doing that. No more, I haven't done that in years. Just thought maybe somebody there would go, that's my boy. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just goading you. I'm just goading you. I get out. I'm in Bonnie Lake. My brother Shane, he's maybe, I think, 16 now. And I'm finding out some stuff. I'm finding out that old Billy Boy not only was doing some pretty unsavory stuff to his own daughter, Rusty, we call her for short, Rochelle. Another miracle, I can tell you, whole nother, more than a chapter, complete circle on that too, and I don't want to go too far ahead of myself, but he's doing stuff to her This guy he was after Ted. She was the one she married when Ted divorced her, or vice versa, whatever it was. There in Des Moines, and then Ted moved in. And like I said, I was just been in and out, institutions on the street. Whenever the job was done, like I said, when she stopped being able to get the adrenochrome out of my eyes, then she would just leave a note, and I just went right to the bottom of it because I knew basically what it was saying. So yeah. Anyway, so my brother, he had been pretty much insulated under her wing, almost a little too insulated, and thinking that maybe might, but no. And in fact, what was going on was old Billy Boy he was not being the best stepfather, if you know what I mean. And me and Rachel ended up talking about this stuff years later, but I hadn't known this, and I wondered why. Right when I got out of Walla Walla, he was just he left. He went to Alaska. Kinnick. That's why I was telling. That's why I brought up Wasilla when somebody said something about Wasilla. I said, "Oh, Kinnick. My brother was up there with my stepdad. Him and my ex-girlfriend ran up there. Whole another deal. Van Lurp's Daffodil Farm in Puyallup. You guys are gonna just stick it out with me. You're gonna love this story. The only guy in the whole harem picking daffodils for the daffodil parade. Hey, a man has got to do what a man has got to do, right? Somebody had to be around all them beautiful women picking all them daffodils, right? So he was diddling around with my little brother, and just like what was happening to me. You just can't tell anybody, unless you're a trained eye knowing what you're looking at, you don't. And I seen it, see. And he started kind of coming out trying to tell me, and him and I had to go get his leather jacket. Some kid had broke his nose. A couple of them stole his jacket, so we went over there and we got it back for him. And then that night I ended up meeting some lady at the tavern, and of course I didn't have sex with her, baby. Honestly, I didn't. I was going to. I brought her back to the house, but my mom was so jealous, and you wonder why would she be jealous? I just got out of Walla Walla, shit on her son, right? But I'll tell you when we're alone sometime if you care to, but just some real demonic stuff. When demons get in people, they'll do some weird, you know what I mean? And I'll just leave it like that, and you can probably just pick it up and just lay it right down, and then leave it as it sit. You can let that shit cool right off. You can't have any company. I said, all right, so, and I had just met her, so she says, well, we'll go back to my place, and she said, my boyfriend, and you could tell she already had a black eye that was starting to just heal up, so I went to her, but she wasn't trying to get me to kick his butt, so I want you to know that right now, because she didn't even want to go there. But after my Billy kicked me out, isn't that something? Bill was diddling my brother, and Billy, that's why I call him little Billy. He actually used to call her Fluff, and I'll tell you what that meant. And it wasn't very kind. So she brought me back to her place. It wasn't too far away, about Allen York Park there, which big full circle, whole nother book, probably 100,000 word book on that alone. Just and bunches of miracles along the way, which I just thought my life was just one big coincidence. No. And you guys are starting to get that also. But so we go back to her place, and he comes back and he goes, "Who's this?" And before he even, I just wham! I just had his eye just before he was it was over. He fell right to the ground. I headbutted him so hard, so fast. Of course, I had to jump. He was a pretty big dude. He fell right to the ground. And I'm not bragging, and I'm not, but I never liked a punk that beat up on his girl. If you don't have game, then let her leave your world, right? And he finally got up. He said, "What are you?" And he said, "Fine, whatever." And he left. And and my brother was with us. And I wasn't going to do anything with my brother there, because then I realized, and my brother was like, and of course there was one other altercation I'm not going to talk about. It was on a skateboard, me and my brother, not long after that, and someone pulled over, thought that they were going to, until they seen that the little dude that was with the other little dude, which my brother was actually a little bigger than I am, because Fred was a little, I think he was 5'10", I'm only 5'6". But when he seen that little dude, what was going on, he got in his stuff, and this grown man was, but that would be bragging, so I'm not doing that. And that right there kind of set the tone for my brother also, that this is what you did to be cool, so I want you to know that, and it's really not, it's not cool. It's one thing to stand up for yourself, but it's another thing to gloat over violence. It's not. You know, and it might have been fitting in some areas, but so I have to be careful. And again, and I'm human, so but becoming, greater things than these you shall do, and so that's what my sights are on. It's on that knowing that my Heavenly Father has me suspended to that threefold cord, and that is what holds me true. That's what's been getting me by all this time. That's what's had me taking them trips, baby girl. Excuse me, and all this other stuff. Excuse me. I actually drink a coffee beverage, which I do not do, and even in prison, people are like, "Hey, Steen, you want a Cadillac?" And I'm like, They're like, "Come on, man, have a coffee with us. It's Christmas Eve." And I'm like, "Dude, no way." They're like, "Why?" And I says, "It's just like," I kept telling my cousin, "Hey, bro, you want a beer?" And I'm like, "You don't remember what happened after you gave me the first one?" I said, "Once you give me that coffee, it's just like, it spins me out. It's almost like Ritalin for kids with, it's the opposite with me, It cooks me out, and then I get slammed. Coffee gets me jacked up, messes my stuff, gives me a headache right off the bat, gets me smoking Joe even more, a little more zealous as it, and I don't need nothing. That's what I don't need anything. Remember old Pryor says, wasn't it Richard? Oh no, it was Cosby. Cosby himself. Cocaine it enhances your personality. He goes, "Yeah, but what if you're an asshole?" So I don't need any of that. I'm not an asshole. I don't want to be an asshole. I don't need anything to improve my personality. This is who I am, and I like it just fine. And who I'm becoming, it's even better. So, like I said, I love you guys more today than yesterday, but not as much as tomorrow. For real. And then here in a little while, as soon as I figure out how to do all this stuff, I'm going to be belting out some songs and singing, because I like to sing, and once I got some self-worth, because when I was a little kid, I used to be a little boy, and I would play in the tape, and I would sing, but you'd hear that voice. "You can't sing, Four Eyes. Hey, heaven's on your trail, Four Eyes." You remember that movie, Crossroads, with the little boy from Wax On, Wax Off, Miyagi, Karate Kid. Yeah. So anyway, back to Walla Walla. So I get out of Walla Walla. I'm in Bonnie Lake, which I'm gonna frequent and actually live, and not even really on purpose sometimes. Oh, we're not gonna have this. Hang with me. I might still be live, but I gotta. My beloved son, RDS, has been so kind to pick up my. So I can make this video. Usually I get, well, you guys already know. So I have to check up here and make sure sometimes that I'm actually live. But I know I'm living, so live is just, it's just a secondary. And this chair sucks. That's why I keep scooting down, because it's like I'm donating plasma all over again. Damn needle. Ugh. Did I say needle? It's kind of like the other day I said Amazon. I didn't mean to say that, really. I didn't mean to say Amazon. It's like I didn't mean to say needle, but I did. So I'm in Bonnie Lake, and it's not long. I end up moving in with my brother Forrest. He ends up getting married to Teresa, and they have a little son, cute little boy Forrest, and it's not long, and I'm back to which this is all gonna tie in together. I will make a full circle. Remember when I said that there was the last time I actually really felt like ending my own life, and I had just gotten hitched with my ex, and she was in the tent, young, like 18, 19 years old. I think I was 25, and I'd been up a week. Well, it was exactly across the street, my Cedar Rapids Towing, where my bro Forrest and his first wife Teresa not only got a place lived, but knew Joey and all them that owned Cedar Rapids Towing, the store and all that, and they had a bunch of little houses around there. It was out kind of in the middle of nowhere. It was beautiful on the side of Cedar River. And years later, I ended up down across the street at that river, and that's where I was going to, go ahead and check out and kind of be a coward. But I didn't have the tools to, and I didn't have the sleep. Remember, hungry, angry, lonely, tired. So, full circle. So I end up moving in there back in '91. And it isn't long, and I'm back running around with Tommy Schwartz and doing dirt and stuff, burglaries. And I did a couple burglaries on Burien Lake. Matter of fact, but the statutes ran out. I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about any of this stuff. I've got clearance and the authority and the sanctification and justification of my heavenly Creator, and I'm absolutely, I'm good with what I'm saying. So, but yeah, I was doing dirt. I was doing a couple burglars right there. And Ruth's beautiful home that she donated to the children was still there. Of course, all the property, and there was still a few little woods, some wooded area around there. That's all gone now. And it wasn't long, and I had made a mistake. Well, I'd been making mistakes most of my life. Raise a child up in the way they should go. Like I said, instead of going this way to the loft, I should have went that way. They should have taken me that way which was much closer to the University of Washington, and it wouldn't have been but 3 to 7 minutes, and they'd have said, "Oh yeah, there's something wrong with this. Where there's smoke, there's fire." But I was back off to the races, and I'd made a real major mistake. I'd been doing a burglary, and I touched a piece of glass, and I never wore gloves because we knew the officers made it real clear they no longer did. When I was a kid, they used to do fingerprints, and my brother actually we were doing burglaries, and up to 30 a week by the airport because it was so loud. I was able to throw a rock through the window, and then because they had their houses pretty secure and everybody was at work, I could throw a rock through the window and nobody would hear it for people that were home, and then unlock the window and slide it open. And we were doing a record amount, and my brother ended up leaving his fingerprint, which they had, and because my fingerprint wasn't left behind, and I'll tell you that story, that's a whole nother deal. They busted him, kind of like the thing with Jesse. When I got busted in the car, we stole the Mazda B210. They didn't charge me, they charged him because he admitted it. I didn't admit it, even though I was in the car. They didn't charge me the car because the people's vehicle ran better. They had parts in the back seat and it ran better, so they didn't charge me. They couldn't get me for the burglary because I didn't say anything. Same thing with my brother. I didn't say anything, and he did, and plus the fingerprints were left. Well, this time, but my brother told on me, was my point, and I was listening to him in the vent just to kind of, because some of you might go, well, what point? What did that have to do with it? Well, what it had to do with it, in that mirrored halled house, and then I'll get back to the deal. In that hall, that Conway Twitty house that the Lord gave me that beautiful song to mourn to. There was the ducking, the air was all central, and and I heard him telling the cops that were there, saying, "Listen, we got the broken window, and we've got most of your fingerprint." I think that's what they said. And he ended up saying, "Yeah, me and my brother." And I'm like, no, because they told him that I had just said, "Well, your brother already told us," and I'm in the bedroom because they said, "Now you go to your mom." That's right. They said and we were young. Go to your mom's bedroom. And I went to my mom's bedroom, and I heard the whole thing. So I had enough time to get the weed that I had stashed out of where I was at and put in the Yahtzee shaker. I had a bunch of games, so when I did end up getting out of the trouble, because I only went to juvenile for a minute, and they ended up charging my brother. But my point is, without they admitting it, there was nothing they could do. Same with Jesse, even though they had to have charged me. The people with the car, they didn't charge me, so I got fortunate, and probably should have got charged, but by rights, I was in the people's house for the love of God. But so now, I touched the glass, and I knew I should not have touched that glass, and even though the cops had announced we ain't doing fingerprints anymore, and I said all that back then because of the fingerprint thing, they used to always take fingerprints. They don't do it. They didn't do it anymore unless it was a violent crime. It costs too much money. They told people. So I just stopped wearing gloves, and but this one time I grabbed this piece of glass and moved it, set it down. I think this is around 92 now. It didn't take long. I didn't have the mental fortitude to stop doing really stupid shit and invading people's personal space. But I've learned my lesson. I just want y'all to know that. I've learned my lesson. I've learned my lesson well. What's that, Lassie? It's fun when you can joke, because you know, they were trying to convert and pervert me into all kinds of shit. And I just love, you know, the Lord is using me in great ways, and He's using all you too. And I really love you guys. I really do. Man, I can't wait to just hold my wife. I just can't wait. Man, I've been so lonely, dude. You don't even, 5 years, and I'm not even bragging, but when you got, DOC workers, one in particular, and you know that girl likes you, and she's not bad looking, and she lives locally when you're in, let's say, somewhere close, like in Aberdeen, like in, you know, Stafford Creek, someplace like that, it kind of makes it difficult. It does. And you know, it makes it even more difficult, you know, that you know, she's young and vibrant and just has courage and just all kinds of stuff. And but still, you know, when you're in love, you're in love. So until I get the memo, and I didn't say that to rub it in. I just want you to know I've been fighting, man. It hasn't been easy. I'll tell you that right now. It hasn't not been easy. I'm just waiting for my Lord to either you to say, hey man, here's the deal, here's the keys to the city, here's the deal, because I need to, that's why I said we need to speak. So I know where to go. I'm not just going to load. I've done that. And I know there's the contributing factors that kept us from it. And believe me, I know. That's why he kept saying over and over. He kept hitting that symbol, that Turkish symbol, chang, chang. And it wasn't him. It was what he was saying. You know that. You know what he was saying. Actually, it's this look because it's been, woo! It's coming down, folks. This beautiful Pacific Northwest. Of course, if it was a little colder, it'd be snowing. It'd be snowing really well right now. Gosh, my heart, my hat, like they say. My mom came to visit us in Maine, and the lady said in my hat, and she said, what, in her hat? And I said, no, Mom. She said, in her hat. And my mom started busting up. I do love my mom, I really do, but it's just the devil in her I hate. I hate the devil. He set out to kill me and keep us apart, baby. That's what he kept us. That's what he kept. He wanted to keep us apart. Trying to keep perpetual love from allowing us to ring out, just because it's going to happen anyway. It's going to happen. Oh, it's going to happen, with or without. It's going to happen. But man, I'm just the next half is going to be the sweetest. The Lord promised me that. Sometimes I get impatient, you know. And sometimes I just want to say, can't you blame me? Can't you blame me? I mean, really. So, but that's okay. Like I said, what's 2 more months? What's a couple more months, right? What's a couple more months? And then you can see if that's, you know, I know you said you already did. I know, I heard you, and I heard what you said about your deck. I heard that, and I seen what you said, and I seen every time you looked over at Gab. I know. But that's not shouting it from the rooftops, and I'm not saying you have to do that right now until you're more secure on the foundation that I'm becoming. We're all becoming that. It's not no big I or little you thing. It's not this, you know, like Sade bowing. It's the metaphor of the bow. It's the bow from the song before also. That's what it's about. It's not even about, it's about submitting to our King. And he becomes, and he uses and justifies rock, donkey, burning bush, Judas. Think about it. He's got got what it takes right here, right now. Don't let them fool you and make you think it's something to come. Yes, you keep your eyes peeled. Look, you go ahead and look at all the beautiful luminaries. You do that, but don't worship them. It's one thing to be an astrologer and then and then astronomy. And I get the two mixed up, just like I get the best illustration I can use for this is incubus and succubus. I get them mixed up. You know, I get them. I know what I'm trying to say. Just like I do the NASA equals Satan MC squared type stuff, and then I'll reverse it because rats live on no evil star. It just depends, and sometimes it just comes out that way, and I'm like, what? Why did I do that? Is this some dyslexic? And then the Lord said, no, you do this, and I went, oh, and then they're able to, oh, I see. That's pretty simple. And he's like, well, yeah, duh. It's really simple. People complicate the truth. That's why a real good sermon comes from a pulpit that is clear. It's clear, like it's like these. It's like their eyes. It's clear. You can see. If you're around the real thing long enough, you'll know. You will know for sure if you're around the real thing long enough. You will know. You'll know them by their fruits. Plum, Pruno King, King County, Pierce County. Look, I can't make this up. I didn't even want to. I didn't want no part of it. That's what they say about Sir Trump. He didn't want no part of it either. And hey, if it's all it's been made for us to believe, then you know something. Then that man, he's in due for some serious apologies. Shame on you people. It's all coming down. You fools, you're through. See, there's certain things my Heavenly Father keeps me, but there's certain things I've seen too, and they're not quite clear yet for a reason. Now there's other things that the Lord gives me that He says not yet, because He wants to see if I'm going to leak it out. Oh yeah, it's not evil, because He don't tempt with evil. No, and the enemy, he don't even come at me sideways anymore. Nope. He uses other people now. He don't even try to come. He just comes blatant at me just through other fools, just straight people that are drunk. And homie, don't play that shit. I don't do well with, and I apologize for anybody that I've offended while I've been drinking. And I used to always think, man, you guys are out your minds, fool. You guys are out of your minds. I have one drink, and my daughter knows when I've had one drink. And I'm like, how do you know this? She goes, I don't know. It's just in your voice. I hadn't even, God is my judge and witness. And the Lord knows I'm not in vain. I don't even get the buzz hasn't even hit yet. Their phone's ringing. She's asking me, oh, you had a drink. I said, dude, it hasn't even hit me yet. How do you know? She goes, and I said, no, listen, you need to tell when we're actually talking, and like now we're getting along. I said, how did you know? She goes, Dad, I don't know. It was in your voice. Your voice was different. So I apologize to anybody I offended while I was drinking. I'm going to say something right now. Oh, you fool. I'm going to say something right now. I apologize. Because I used to say to you guys, when I hadn't even had one beer, and you guys are going, oh, here he goes, he's drinking again. And I thought you guys were just messing with me. I apologize. I really apologize. And for you fools that would keep giving me, hey man, you want a beer? And I say, you don't remember what happened last time? when I backed out of here trying to get beer before the store closed because ours was all gone, and I backed over your lawn, your picnic furniture and broke it all to shit. You don't remember that? And you're offering me another beer, right? So sometimes you got to just police yourself. I don't do well with drunks or people even that have been drinking. I really don't. And there are a lot of people, and I used to think it also, I can handle my alcohol. And I did. I remember one time I drove looking for my son once before I got custody of him with this ex that I'm with. I thought my grandson, they should be here anytime because he'll be blowing his recorder. He got this new recorder, and I don't want to blow your guys' ears out or be rude to him either. But I love you guys, and I want to spend time with you. But the ex that I got with 25 years ago that I corrected myself with a 15-year deal that I actually only been with 15 years. I don't do well with, this thing is starting to, it's the enemy. It's the enemy. I don't do well with people that have been, I don't do well with people that are on alcohol. I just don't. I don't like even attempting to. I just don't. I don't like it. And you might be somebody that has a few, you know, maybe I may not even know the difference in you, but I'm just not. I just would rather not. So, and that's another lesson I had to learn, is going through some of this crap, staring at the crap, and believe me, going, hey, this is it. And so the enemy don't use certain things with me anymore. You know, like I didn't know they had Johnny Walker Blue. Oh yeah. I just thought they had red and black. Yeah, ooh, that blue, it's smooth. You deserve a straight shot of that. Yes, I do. I deserve a straight shot of that. Oh, DOC would love that one. Well, they would love that. Because that's where I'd end up eventually. Or dead somewhere. Just a matter of time. That's why I was able to stay out the 3 years. That's why they came looking for me, because they knew that judge, I got to be careful, he's retired now. They knew he was retiring. They knew he wouldn't be there when they couldn't chance me. After I'd already called the prosecutor and told her I was turning myself in. Well, when? Huh? Well, I said, you don't worry about it. I didn't say you don't worry about it. I thought you don't worry about it. I said, well, you'll see me when you see me. But they had to have me in there because they knew any other judge would have gave me an evidentiary hearing. I wouldn't have. But my point of all that is, I would have never made it 3 years like that if I wouldn't have been sober. My doctor, Dr. Khan, I forgot to add something, and then I'm going to get off track on purpose. You know, my mom, right after my dad died, right before my life seemed to go to hell in a handbasket when Freddie Fender took me in there in the trailer and the little TikTok and all that shit about killing my family. My mom my aunt was dating. My aunt Frankie was separated from Jeff, and then she had Dee Dee, LaDonna, and Jeffy, my cousins, and living on Benson Hill, right there in the apartments, full circle again. And I just remembered this. The night that we stood in line to see Star Wars, stood in line downtown Seattle. Honestly, it was amazing. It really, really was. It really was cool. Just standing in line for all 6 hours was fun. But my point was this. Frankie was dating a Middle Eastern fellow, I believe an Indian, from India. And, which is beautiful, because I was bringing up the health of the Asians and which, you know, are Asians, my WOW family, and how they're not obese and very intelligent, and high cholesterol, blah, blah, blah. I can just go on and on, along with the Indians, and it's a lot of how they eat and what they don't eat, blah, blah, blah. Very intelligent. My doctor's an Indian, and, you know, it just goes on and on. You can look all over and see how these people are just wired for success and sound mind because of what they're eating and how they've been raised. A lot of it, believe it or not so much religion, but in what's going in that body. Can you imagine? Ooh, talk about mountains being moved and counting. So, the fella she was dating lived also in the same apartment and had a brother or something that was also Middle Eastern or from India. And my mom was dating him. Well, she was dating all kinds of people. This was one of... The guy learned his lesson real soon because we had only seen this guy. I remember him only a couple of times, so he probably figured it out. He was one of the more fortunate ones. Well, him and his buddy invited us over. This was right before we stood in line for hours to see Star Wars. Invited us over to have a meal in this huge, huge bowl. It was a huge, like a big pan, like a wok. My mouth is salivating thinking about it. But it was rice and probably lamb, I don't know. But we all ate out of this. And these guys were cool, you know. These guys were really neat people, man. Real intelligent. That's what I remember. They were clean, intelligent, and they were obviously quite misled about these, at least one of these American women. They'd been listening to a little too much John Cougar Mellencamp. But like I said, was going to find out soon enough, at least about one of them, because I don't remember seeing him. Pardon me. So there's that food, very healthy, you know. It's when I'm at the mall. I've done this so many times. When I'm at the mall, the last time this happened, I was at the Tacoma Mall with Mouth. We weren't even, we weren't humping or nothing. This was a long time ago. You coexist, the devil makes it, And, but boy, when you got the Holy Spirit in you, it's amazing. So I'm there, and we're at the food court. And, today the Bloods and Crips weren't shooting each other up in the mall. Just Google it. In the mall, shooting each other up. So the bullets weren't flying today. And I was fixing to get me some Indian food. Because it's good. It's almost like vegetarian food. Man, they got this piece. Everything. It doesn't look the best. But boy, it's just kind of like your push-ups. You don't want to do them. But after you start, just like this morning, I'm like, God, I really don't want to do my push-ups, man. But once you start doing them, it's like you don't really want to go out and take a walk. But once you do, like I said, you asked me 5 minutes before how I feel, you're going to get a different answer. If you ask me 5 minutes after I leave, you got some. It's just hard to initiate it. You just got to do it, guys. Just do it. So I'm at the mall. And these kids with their dad, they're looking for something, and you can tell. And I said, hey, check this out if you don't mind me butting in. I says, I'll be right with you, son. They're back. I'll be right with you, son. I says, and then I'll cut this short, and then I'll get back to it. And then I'll come back, and I'll tell you, because this stuff's, it's fixing to heat up. As a matter of fact, my son pops in, and he's about ready to be conceived in Salt Lake City as I'm heading down to Abilene. Oh, Abilene. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm a fool. It gets better and riper, and I mean not stench riper. I'm talking about just good. It gets real good, baby girl, if you just stick it out with me. Otherwise, I know the Lord, and I trust Him, and so far so good. So I tell these young, and I say, excuse me if you don't mind me butting in, but this Indian food, it doesn't really look the best, but I'm telling you, it's really good. So they went ahead and they ordered it, and she, the wife, because it was a husband and wife, she's seen it all go down, and when she came over to bring us our food, she gave me an extra piece of that bread. I forgot what it's called. I kind of used to know, but oh my goodness, that bread that you used to. Oh, isn't that awesome? You just take your three fingers and you just I'm real nimble with my fingers. And when you know stuff I know and you're nimble with your fingers, oh baby girl, talk about the levee breaking. And see, that's a beautiful thing. Just like birds, the carpenter, they're going to follow you around. Yeah, I told you, this thing could fall off and you're going to be cool. You're going to be so cool, baby. And I just want you to know that. I'm not trying to rub it in. You're going to know. Oh, you're going to know. It's a combination of things. It's a combination of knowing when and when not to. Just like I said, faith isn't just knowing when to do something. It's knowing when not to. It's not just jumping off a bridge, Tor. It's not just jumping off a bridge. It's knowing, making sure faith packed your parachute, and when and what bridge to jump off of. You just don't take some flying leap, you know. That's not what you do, fool. That's not what faith is. But it is getting out of the boat. And sometimes it will be jumping off that bridge. And you'll see. Because if Peter could raise the dead, and we can drink poison and trample on serpents, and it's already been happening. Look at the shit they were feeding me, excuse my language, in prison. They were like, God, we gotta get rid of this dude. It ain't enough that we're opening his mail. We can't kill this damn messenger. We can read the message, and they can shut down that phone, and they can try to discourage me, but they knew long ago. Oh no, this lion, and that's another miracle I'm going to tell you about. When the Lord told me my heavenly name was in Twitamela, the confirmation was 5 years ago. But he planted that seed with Peter, the one that gained my trust, the one that was a warrant officer, because they couldn't fire him. And he risked his job along with that game warden and a few other, not cops, but officers the Lord used. And I believe these people, if they weren't angels, the Lord used these people because they had the Holy Spirit. Something was going on to help me rewire, just like that probation officer to help rewire my screwed up mind that had these wires crossed to cause these unnecessary fires, to pervert my perception of all law and enforcement. See? Miracles, baby. Just one miracle after another. One miracle after another. That's really what it is. One miracle after another. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go. You're never lost. You're just misplaced. Excuse me. I know that was kind of rude. And I'll try not to do that at the dinner table, baby. But you know, like I said, I was always the last one in. They drew first blood on me, baby. They tried to, we unleashed the lion. And that's what they did. The Lord allowed it all to happen. He built a hedge. Now, like in Twitamela, the cries rang out across the plain and didn't fall on deaf ears, on the ears of the in motion in Twitamela. You're going to find out about that, because that was on a black and white TV from a homosexual that hated not only my guts, himself, and everybody else in there, and would have never gave me that TV. Talk about another miracle. And certainly didn't like me. Like that way. May like me another way and getting just more of a reason not to give me. Stick it out with me. See about some serious miracles. One miracle after another. And then the time I went to go find my son while he was still like 1 or 2 years old, because of the crap that happened in Michigan, South Haven, Bangor. Oh, baby girl. Yeah. I just don't do well with drunks. I don't like dealing with them. Now I know how I treated people, and I apologize, you guys. And I thought it was just you. Yeah, you guys just don't want me to get drunk. You guys just don't want me to have fun. No, that's not it at all. I was just a real piece of when I was drinking. And really, yeah, spirits is right. Just like all your guys' little dope and all your... That crap now, that meth, that's all in... The Lord gave me that a long time ago. Look, that's been done in... That's what all that... I gotta be careful. All that stuff's in China, man. It's been made in China. It ain't coming up like that just a little bit because the DEA and them, they lost their little deal, so the Mexicans ain't their friends anymore. They don't care about you and your kids, our children. They don't care. They don't give a shit about none of them. They don't care. They don't care about themselves. Like I said, forgive them for they know not what they do. They don't even care. Yet, they will. It's going to be way too late. They better wake up now. Quit hitting that snooze button. That reset button, grab that hat. It might seem real sexist and this and that, but bye-bye Miss American Pie. How's about a little kiss? I ain't no yuck mouth. I want my wife to want to kiss me. I want to be in shape so she looks at me and goes, God, I love that man. He's this many old, but he don't act it. When the Lord said he was going to restore all that the locusts have ate, that's what he's talking about. Heart is where the home is. If you want to find that heart, you want to find somebody's treasure, watch what they do. Day in and day out. And then listen to what they say. And if what they say lines up for what they're doing, then the benefit of any doubt must be rendered. Remember render, baby? Do you remember that? I was pissed when I came back the second time. I was pissed when I came back the first time, but so many beautiful things happened. Hit on my life. Real beautiful things. I wonder if they're going to order that for me for Christmas. No, they know better. All this, I'm just being a smartass because I can now. All this stuff, but the second time around when I came back, when I said and I dubbed the first step, the last step, and I told you I'd be up there earning money to come down. I love dealing with people. That's why I do what I do. I like looking at people and dealing with people. I love you guys. And our Heavenly Creator loves you so much that He has me doing what I'm doing and much more. And that's why they're trying to stop us. Don't you see it? Don't you see it, beloved? Look at their response to our response. Watch, they're telling you what they're doing. Don't you care? Isn't anybody listening? Doesn't anybody care? Well, if you do, let it show like water. There's time for it to be loving and caressing as it washes our children, as it baptizes our meek. But it must crash when it's called upon. Stand firm, soldier. not talking about acts. We're talking about angelic. See, those get confused. But they're drunk. No, I can understand what they're saying. Not drunk, it's this early in the morning. Are you a fool? Didn't you hear Perry Stone? They use it to cut the water that's parasitic. The equivalent is so minuscule. It can't even be equated or even be sensibly used, you silly people. You silly servants. You couldn't even wait up for me for... You couldn't even wait up this... Wake up. Wake up. Did you hear the trumpet? Wake up. Be fluid. Humans shall not live on bread alone. You gotta wash it down with something. It's fluid. It always finds its level. It's so simple, even a cave person can figure it out. Magnetic north. Like crystal. Fleetwood Mac. It just finds its level. You silly people. Merry go round and round. What would happen? Nobody taught me this. It's just truth, logic, and common sense. Put it on a damn merry-go-round. Put the shit on a merry-go-round. Where's it gonna go? And how fast is that going? And they're gonna give you an equation or some fucking tripe that you're gonna go back and gobble up and hope that you're not so... Einstein, Winnie, and fucking Darwin. Your logical shit thinking. Poor Tesla. It opens up wide, sticks out its tongue. Nobody taught me that. I got a lot more to teach you people. That they complicate about our Creator, Yeshua Mashiach, Yahweh, Abba. No, they were talking about different languages, not angelic tongues. That's spoke about in the Bible also. Don't have water, living water. As it flows, they're going to get the crumbs. If you don't move, he didn't sit in one spot. He was nomadic. I'm not insinuating anything unless you're led to. But remember what he said? Yeah, it's like water. You can't make this up. It's like a level. It's like a square. It's hip to be square. Build. Fool! You go ahead and you prop your foot up on a ball for a footstool. It just has you guys going counterclockwise, man. Times and laws mocking you as it goes. Mock, 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 mock. Block, 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 block. Chicken, sit, move. You block me. Why? See, it's not even so much. Why do they do what they do? And who they do it to? Look at some of the stuff that's said. Let it fly right on. They just let it fly. And I'm not talking about like a majestic kite. Like an eagle, like the ones my heavenly heavenly angel of an earthly father, Fred. I'm so thankful he was sent to me. People like Bonnie angels, like Peter. Oh, you silly, silly hell's troubled children. And counting. They're waking up. They're waking up. It's all in black and white. I get completely just starstruck in a good way because they're all named. They're all right here. Michael was right there the other night, standing right there, and he's a big thing going on. This demon wasn't all that big, and Jax, old Jackie boy, they just had him sandwiched. Hey, left nut. Yeah, right nut. Let's beat Richard! Oh, Richard was just shivering. Just shivering. I'll be watching over you. Silent lucidity. But I still need to hold you. Physically. I'm here, alive and living. It's not good for man to be alone. I fought long and hard. Please, Father. Please. Nor forsake me. Please. A fight. This for my shield. She's been my shield. She's been my shield. Mother Earth has been my shield. The word, my sword. Justified anger, my inertia, wrath, and acceptance of my call. Denial, no more. You see, it's spent a lot of time on me, keeping me from this union, this divine union, blessed winning of you souls, so we can harmoniously commune at the banquet feast with our Father for eternity, being victorious, yes, obtaining all that's up there, right here, what Satan has been trying to fool you the whole time. As above, so below. Oh, let it be written, let it be done. And so it shall be, my beloved honey. Pun intended. So shall it be. It mocks me no more. The mocker has become the hunter has become the hunted. And the song giver has been made the songwriter, and it's all perpetual revision. You all start figuring out what you're becoming as you lose sight of what they have tied up for you in your mind. Remember, tricked your mind to feel the pain of someone close to you winning the game. Here it is, another chance. Wide awake. Just if you open your mind for me, we have to have faith to do that because it has us brainwashed. Everything we see equates who we are and who will be. What we see. They say you must see to believe. No. It's a matter of perspective. Yes. In some cases, yes. That's why it kept saying that. Millie's this and Millie's that. Ring-a-ding-ding-ding! It was that symbol that, and I don't get me wrong, I love Turkish symbols because I collect them. When I find them, I enjoy them, and then I send them on down the road. No insinuation. I just, you can't make this up. I do. And I try to find the old ones. You have to look. There's certain things to look for, and so much to know. But it kept doing that, you see. It kept doing that. Because every time it hit that symbol, and it said that ring, 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 ring. And it said, see, I told you, the devil, see, I told you, you fool. You fool. You see, this is what you get. Remember it? And then the Passion of the Christ would play with me, and my boy was there in Ybor City. And remember when Satan was holding one of its own hell's troubled children, and it was mocking. Oh, there's some beautiful phenomena that's happening outside my window right now. Thank you. Anyway, not to freak you out. So, where was I at? Because I just got completely off track. Ybor City, thank you, Father. Oh, thank you. That could only happen with bong resin going on up there. That could only happen with the. So one of its demonic little children, and the Lord was putting into my head. Do you see here how it mocks? Oh, even Satan takes care of its own. Oh, even Satan knows how to give good things to its children. Even Satan, even Lucifer, even the dragon knows how to do that. Even the dragon knows how to go. Look it up. Even the dragon knows how to. Even Satan, even the devil knows how to do good things for its young, its little ones. Where's your Father when you need him? Where's he at now, little Steen? Death. Oh, I know now. I'm done gobbling your goo. And the Lord said, and because, son, you've decided to continue to fight, combined with your suffering and your compassion as you were doing it the whole time, loving and not understanding why, and still fighting for the freedom of the underdog, for the love that kept your little heart ablaze. There was always that little piece, of course, of my dad, my biological dad. He didn't know how to love me physically, like call me and say, hey, son, but he knew enough to pray. And that intercessory prayer was enough. Where two or more gather, right? Nobody had to teach me that. The Lord taught me, and there's so much more. Just like what was written in the sand. Just like what was braided, that he drove them out of the the money changers out with. It was the same horse he's returning on, the same horse that I've been on, the same horse that nobody could even ride on, the same horse. The beautiful, majestic, my powerful sensation. I'm getting too far ahead of myself. In Reading, she was so beautiful. She was so majestic. But nobody could put a saddle on her. And my McClellan saddles, I got beat out of them. I got beat. I made a lot of money. I made a lot of money off them. But I got beat up one side, down the other. And the guy, just like the Nirvana locker that I want to tell you about, and here's full circle. I was in Aberdeen and ended up going to prison that they didn't even have back then, that they built. Build it and they'll come. Oh, sweet, sweet. Sweet to some, bitter for others. Yes. Oh, people. Beloved people. Cry out to him. He'll show you. He'll show you. So I'll cut this and I'll start where the law is looking for me because of the piece of glass that I touched. Me and Tommy were doing dirt. Like I said, found myself at Lake Burien. Last time I was there was in 1981, 82. At least it's on the back of the pun intended. Talk about a smoking gun. Can you imagine that? I find a photo of me and Bobby Brotherson, the staff, the 5-point pog trading, pedophilia, 5-point restraint, Captain Howdy type, Island for Misfit Toys. But then Bonnie, and love, and the Holy Spirit protecting me. Can you imagine state employee at the state, with a state property at the state fair? He's holding a shotgun. He's got his hand on my back. Like I'm his... And I was. Looking back now, I was his... Not only his property, but he was showing other pedophiles, because they traded these photos. Oh, they took so many photos of me. They took so many photos. Polaroids. Yeah. Sick people. Sick people. That's just what I remember. That's just... I don't know what... But I'll tell you, when I looked up at him, that sick bastard naked in the shower while I was writhing on the floor of the shower, I knew, man. If there was a hell, I was definitely in it. And if there was a God, he hated my guts. So... Alright, so my grandson's home. I'm going to play with him. I love you guys. Love you, Melly. Love you, Tor. And like I said, I'm going to spend another, just probably a whole few hours just thanking everybody. Because there's so many people I want to thank. And for so many different reasons. And like I said, I don't want to be scripted, but I'll probably be driven to tears. You know, I know it sounds kind of callous sometimes. I'm going to talk about some more gory crap. And I won't even shed a tear, but I'm about ready to get choked up now because I'm thinking about all the people that I want to thank. And just over the last 5 years, you guys have been in my prayers, and even when I was in prison and stuff, all you Diamond and Silk, all you people. So I'm going to let you go. I love you guys. Bye. And I'll see you tomorrow, the good Lord willing.